talking about stereotypes that you personally felt people had on you, right? We have stereotypes on cultures. So this image is the Florida Seminole, right? Is anybody into football?
That's what?
All right, this is the Florida Seminole. Okay, this is their mascot. It's not like from the reservation. This isn't a picture from that video we watched the other day. This is actually a school's mascot. So what is our school mascot?
Nothing.
Well, now we have the night. Hold on.
No.
Our school mascot is a science night.
A science night.
What's that?
This school's mascot is an Indian. Now, based on these images, what do you see? What do you see in these images? All right. A chinchilla. All right, so restate the norm. Okay. Alright, so he said he saw like what they're wearing. They're wearing Native American clothes. Let's get two more people to share out. What other things do you see in this image?
I see a horse, five on them. I see 7 bulls with head of English
Okay.
on a horse with a shell, she bird punches on it.
Right up.
I don't know. Feathers. Alright, Armel. Where we? With your eyes, not your mouth. Alright, so we talked about what we see in these images. We see things like feathers, maybe beads, or what they're wearing. Armel, could you answer, what do you think this is true, like, do you think this is truly representative of Indian culture?
No.
Alright, what is it missing? What does it make us think about Indian culture?
They're trying to make fun of them.
No.
Alright, hang on, Josh. You can say come when you have the ball.
Because in the media.
Alright, wait.
Right.
Armel has the ball. Why do you think it's making fun of them?
You kind of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word.
Do you want some time to think and maybe we can come back?
I really think they trying to make fun of them, really. Because if this was like an Indian culture for real, and they really supporting with them and stuff, they would have more than one person. They just having one person making the whole crowd go crazy. If it's their culture and they love it, they help them out. Let them like, I can't say the word. Like the word is like, I'm gonna tell you the definition. Like to spread the culture. Oh, I think something like that. So yeah.
So make it known, not
Yeah.
just have this one thing,
Yeah.
this one person represent all the people.
Yeah.
Alright? How do you feel when one person sets the tone for how people think of you?
Wait, say it again.
So we talked about how maybe Josh said that someone thinks that all black people like watermelon or fried chicken. How does that make you feel?
Like, I mean, I know it's true, but I feel like they trying to talk about it, trying to say something about it.
Does that mean every young African American?
No, I really think that's criticizing because since they black, so they gonna like everybody gonna like everything else just because your color. Just because your color don't mean you like everything else. You could like different stuff.
So does this mean that all Native Americans ride horses
Nope.
wearing feathers and?
No.
Okay. Josh, restate the norm.
I don't think it's racist, but they trying to make fun of them because then you got the Blackhawks. Their logo is Indian. But what? The Blackhawks.
Oh
yeah. So black folks. I don't think it's racist. I just think what they try to represent is maybe Indian, their ancestors back in the day. I don't think they're trying to say like that's how all Indians are. I think they were trying to say that's how they like back in like you know.
What are you trying to say?
Kind of like their ancestors.
Okay, so maybe like you. So thank you for being honest and giving your opinion. These are harder issues, but we're going to actually read a topic of debate. Should sports teams use Native Americans' names and mascots? Because as a Native American, this might actually feel like a stereotype. Did those people in those videos look like this?
At one point they did.
At one point, when they chose to. But this doesn't mean that they always are connected with their past. We talked about how they actually are very disconnected with their past. And a lot of them are living in poverty. All right, Lavelle and Brennan, and then we're going to start reading.
Then after the other color put in like maybe like them, it changed to like them. And mentor, I don't say other color. I don't say no other color, which kind of people are here. I don't want to say don't be racist. So I can say the people who make them look like the other people like them, that's different color.
All right, and we recognize too that maybe this is the Chicana tribe or the Cherokee tribe. This isn't representing every tribe. Just like you have different neighborhoods in Chicago, different things represent those neighborhoods. What happens when you feel like everybody thinks you're the same? It could be taken as offensive.
Come on, right here.
All right, Brendan, last one, and then we're going to start reading. I have it. You say the north.
Say me. When I talk, everybody got to be quiet.
Politely.
When I'm speaking, everybody must keep their mouth closed and listen to their ear. I think Indians think that's I think that offended them because back in Indians, it wasn't about war. That was a white man coming to them and stuff. Because in the war, he was an Indian chief. He was fighting with peace, like Martin Luther King did.
Okay.
So they make it sound like they was violent.
Oh, that's a really good point. He said that they're making it seem like Indians are violent. They have the spears or whatever they're called.
They only had that.
And they might not have been.
It was a tradition for them to make.
I thought that was just a stick with flowers.
No, I'm saying, boy.
I'm talking about-
No, I'm saying the fact that they used to make spears, that's like tradition. They used to hunt animals. That was their food to hunt.
Interesting. Thank you for your insight. Let's delve a little deeper. Okay, so we're going to spend some time reading this. Everybody should have a sheet that says topic of debate. It's the one that you're taking notes on. So turn to the front page. Can I get somebody to volunteer to read that loud and proud? Brendan, he's going to read that. As he reads, follow along. Remember, what do you do to annotate? What are some of your annotating skills? What would I do to vocabulary that I don't know? You could circle it. What other things could I annotate? How can I define a main idea?
Man, I did also be on the topic sentence.
All right, the topic sentence. How might I annotate that on my paper as we read? What symbol could I use? We could circle vocabulary. Okay, so as you read, circle vocabulary and underline any main or interesting ideas. And then underline. All right, Brendan, start us out.
In response to previous letters about American Indians being mascots for sports teams, the writer of mascot don't be little Indians. In response to previous letters about American Indians being mascots for sports teams, the writer of mascots don't be little Indians. Letter very nice stated that the fans don't think lowly of American Indians because of messed up today. Okay. I'm done reading. I'm ready to hear
You ready?
the whole page.
The mascot? Okay, I'll read the next one and you can pick up where you want to. By definition, racism is discriminatory or abusive behavior toward members of another race. while the fans of these sports teams feel like it's fine to have an Atlanta Brave or a Washington Redskin, it is abusive behavior toward members of American Indian tribes. The Washington blanks in the blank space insert any race, and you will come up with a team mascot that would not be tolerated in today's society. These team mascots need to be retired, and we as Americans need to see, on the back, that if we are to have freedom from oppression, then we need to start with our own homeland. Alright, so this is one side not in favor of mascots. We're about to read another side that is in favor of mascots. So, Armel, will you read that first paragraph in names prideful, not racist?
I'll read.
Alright.
In response to the letter, team mascots are racist. Letter Jaber the same team. Team mascot names are not racist. The writer correctly gave the definition of the racism, and no team mascot comes remotely close to the meaning of that definition. Teams, whether they be high school, college, or professional, choose mascot names that demonstrate strength and power. Cleveland Indians, Florida State Seminoles, Atlanta Braves, Washington Redskins. None of these display discriminatory or abusive behavior towards members or another race or more
Specifically?
I'm
It's okay.
messed up because I have the wrong in my mouth trying to suffer the cold.
You're doing well.
Toward American Indian tribes. In fact, when humans actually flesh out the part of those mascots, they are done with what most would agree in is dignity and pride. Perhaps we should rename them, though, in order to appease the letter writer. I wonder how he would feel about Cleveland Daisy, Florida State Kittens, Atlanta Peaches, or Washington Pussy.
Alright, so that's like a tree, willows.
Those names would certainly strike fear in their opponent's hearts and minds, wouldn't they?
Okay, so we're going to think about this together. The article name is that the NCAA takes aim on Indian mascot.
Excuse me. It's a school name, Washington Pussy.
Brendan,
Off the rim,
I'm not
no.
answering that. No. Alright, so I'm passing out a sheet similar to the one on the board. Take a minute and just, I want you to look at the box titles. Thank you. Next time. Take a minute to read over this by yourself. And then we'll spend time doing this together. Alright, so once we get through this, we'll have the rest of the day will be lab day. 10:03. So, what we're going to do is go through delving deeper into what this article actually meant. So you should have your article, and you should have this grid sheet. Did everybody get a sheet that's titled Reading Towards Your Persuasive Essay? Alright? Part of reading towards our persuasive essay is to actually record what we're reading and think critically about it. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to go through today as an example and talk about what this piece is saying. So let's take 2 minutes to yourself, and I want you to review the article using any of your annotations, and in your first box, write what this piece is saying. So identify one major concept right here in your box. Alright, so you have 2 minutes starting now. What are you doing in the first box?